Today's video, we're going to touch on something that I've broken down before here on the channel, but I think you guys are going to like the way it's presented a little bit more this time than last time. And the reason that I want to circle back on this tip is that some players understand why this is important adjustment, but I still see so many players that are out there running defenses where they're not executing this tip, and it can really make any defense better. So let's get into it. What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what you need to do adjustment-wise against wheel routes. As you guys know, wheel routes are the most important route in any offense in Madden. It doesn't matter whether it's a running back wheel or a tight end wheel out of the bunch, whether it's tight end wheels and slot receiver wheels out of the tight slots weak. Every single offense that you face utilizes wheel routes to somebody because they are very, very difficult to defend. If you man them up, players will lowball them. And if you don't do the right adjustments with your zone coverage, they're wide open for a low ball possession catch as well for anywhere from basically 7 to 10 yards. So in today's video, we're going to talk about exactly what to do against the two most popular formations that wheel routes are spammed from. Just want to say thank you so much for helping me reach 12,000 subscribers here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. It is the spring of 2022 and we're still pushing upwards with the channel. Things are really growing, not only here on the YouTube channel, but also on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Zan Madden, where I also stream Monday through Friday in the afternoons. And obviously on the Gridiron Game Plans website and in our Discord, where there's a ton of awesome community conversation. If you guys could do me a quick favor, make sure you guys, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button as we push for 13,000 subscribers, and we'll see you guys here on the other side of this. So for today's video, we're not going to worry about the defensive playbook that we're going to be in because this will work out of any defensive formation in the game, provided that you can get the correct zones on the field. So I'm just going to go straight into practice mode here with the Seattle Seahawks defense. Now, we've talked about this before here on the channel. The wheel route is obviously the most important route that you can throw in any offense. It frustrates basically everybody, myself included, and I think that I've got pretty solid wheel route defense. My approach to defending a wheel route is to consistently focus on taking away that throw and making you get impatient and throw elsewhere. And once I can do that, I feel much better about myself. Now, let's start off with the gun bunch formation. The most popular wheel route that you're going to face in the gun bunch is likely the tight end wheel out of the play verticals. However, there is an even better play in which players like to run double wheels that is known as mesh spot. When you are facing mesh spot, what you're going to want to do is call a nickel defensive formation in your playbook. It doesn't matter whether it's nickel normal, nickel 2-4-5, nickel 3-3-5 odd, nickel 2-4-5 odd. You get the picture. Any nickel defense, you're going to want to run this on auto flip if possible, or if you know the way that they come out with their bunch to the wide side or the short side, you're going to want the nickel corner on the bunch side. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to choose Tampa 2, and I'm going to keep the nickel corner to the tight end side. Now, as we've talked about before here on the channel, a shaded down vertical hook is the best way to defend a tight end wheel. Now, notice that I said tight end wheel because a shaded down vert hook in a nickel defense on a running back side will not defend the running back. So if I were to call a cover 2 defense and shade down, you will notice that this vert hook will do a solid job on the tight end. However, this vert hook right here with Brooks will not guard his man, which is the running back. So the popular setup for mesh spot is something kind of like this. And most players will look to throw one of the wheels to either the left or the right. Now, the running back wheel is the one that is always going to be open when your opponent is looking at this particular coverage, which is a shaded down cover 2, essentially. Now, this is different than cover 2 hard flat. Keep that in mind. If you were to call cover 2 hard flat, you would have hard flats, but your vert hooks would not play the same. So if I take a look here to the wide side of the field, you can see that the shaded down vert hook is taking away the low ball angle. He's strafed up looking at the quarterback. And if you were to have an acrobat at this spot on the field, this would end up being an interception if it was thrown. However, on the running back side, you'll notice that the shaded down vert hook, which was Brooks, is not playing anywhere near his man. So that would be my responsibility as a user. Now let's go back and run this again. So if I'm in a cover 2 and I shade down, that is going to shade my cloud flats into hard flats. So keep that in mind. You might want to readjust as you see fit. But this player should be your user candidate because he's going to have to user that route. Again, if I were to snap this ball, I will just hang out here. And now when they throw that ball, that's for me to intercept. Obviously a little bit tough for me to throw the ball on one controller and lurk on the other, but you can definitely see how this simple setup is something that you could shut down this concept fairly easy with. Thank you for checking out this free content over here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys are enjoying this content, make sure that you guys also check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we go over the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counteract those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every game plan on the site all year long for just a low price of $9.95 a month. And you guys get access to our Discord channel, where we have members of the Gridiron Game Plans community chatting daily, helping each other get better at the game. And this also includes a lab session every single Wednesday night on the channel. So make sure you guys get over to the website. If you guys are looking for the best escape artist defense in the community, you have to look no further. gridirongameplans.gg. Now back to the video. Now, let's say that your opponent is doing a really good job of mixing up their play calling. You don't know whether it's going to be mesh spot or maybe verticals or a variety of different plays, like maybe X spot. There's a lot of stuff that can get open, and B to cover too. So you guys know that I'm a big fan of match. So if I were in a match style defense, like say quarters, I love match defense against bunch. But there was something in the back of my mind that maybe made me believe that they might be in mesh spot. All you have to do is essentially put vertical hooks on the field. So in this situation, I would think, okay, well, I'm probably going to be lurking on the running back side regardless. Let's go ahead and put Amadi into a vertical hook instead of a quarter flat, shade our coverage down so that way his vertical hook is shaded down. And then maybe we go ahead and put Robinson into either a hard flat or into a seam flat, which a seam flat doesn't have the exact same rules as a quarter flat, but it'll do a pretty solid job. You could also put him into a purple zone if you wish as well on this. And again, in this situation, you would end up guarding the running back yourself. That way, if they are in a play that has a corner route, you still have a match coverage over the top of it. But if they're in a play that has a tight end wheel route, you're going to have the shaded down vert hook that you've mixed into this concept, and then you could still lurk on this play. So when the ball snapped, you're over here. If they want to throw that wheel route, you can see very easily that you're there to take it away. Pretty simple. Now, for some of you, you may not want to guard the running back wheel yourself. Maybe your opponent is putting you in conflict. They're throwing crossing routes over the top of your user. They're buying time and scrambling with their quarterback, and you just can't be on the running back for whatever reason. There is another adjustment that you guys can use, albeit it is very inconsistent against the running back wheel. This is something that I consider to be maybe my last line of defense. So let's go back and say that I have to be maybe in the middle of the field on a, like a crosser or something. So my user's out of commission. And let's say that we're back in, let's just call cover 2 again, and we shade down, and I can't be low near the running back. The adjustment that you're going to want to make for this is to take the defensive tackle or the defensive end on the running back side and bluff blitz them. Bluff blitzing will put them into a 3-rec hook, which you would think would send them over to the 3 receiver side of the formation. However, when a bluff blitz defensive lineman exists on the running back side of the formation, you will notice that he actually matches the wheel route. Again, this is inconsistent. There's sometimes where the player bluff blitzes, gets blocked, and then it takes them a little bit of time to get off the block. However, which can also work to your advantage because sometimes your opponent will go to throw that low ball down and inside to the running back and not be prepared for a defensive lineman to peel off that block and be right there. If you have quick hands, that could end up being a click on for an interception. But we'll go ahead and kind of show you how that works. And you see how that guy ends up being on him, and it can kind of just muddy up that read, make them very uncomfortable with it. Again, you would kind of act like you're going to be there and then peel off of it. So if we were to go right back into that rep again with this type of defense, let's say that I were in a cover 2 of any type. And again, we're shaded down so that way we've got the tight end wheel covered. and I wanted to maybe put this defensive tackle in a 3-rec. Basically what you would end up doing is when this ball snapped is you kind of hang out here and then peel off of it. And then that way, if they want to throw that low ball down and inside, they're going to throw it right through the lane in which that defensive lineman is peeling back into coverage. So that's something that you guys could do. Again, I think another thing that might be interesting to some of you would be to run a defensive lineman in a vert hook. So if you have an outside linebacker or a defensive end, you could go ahead and place them into a vert hook and then shade your coverage down. Again, this will lose your matching principles if you are in a match play. So be advised that your quarter flats may end up changing into hard flats. But in this situation, once again, that shaded down vert hook on a running back side might not do the job you're really wanting out of him. You see, he kind of drops back into that same area that the linebacker did. However, on a tight end side, a vertical hook that would be shaded down would be just fine as well. So if I were to go back to, say, for instance, the right side of this formation, we could actually put Robinson in a vert hook, shade it down, and then this guy could actually end up being, you know, like a user candidate, Bobby Wagner. So then you could kind of lurk in the middle of the field and, you know, hang out here. And you see right there that that defensive end is right there and it went right through him, but that's an easy pick with that adjustment. So you don't necessarily have to use a nickel corner in a vert hook. You can put an outside linebacker or defensive end in that. And you can also work in the bluff blitz on the running back side just to kind of give you some extra options that you may wish to, you know, use against the bunch wheel meta. Now, we're going to actually head over to the tight slots week. This is probably the best formation for people who spam wheel routes because they actually work into different areas of the field. So let's talk about that. Now, before we get into the tight slots week, I know that you've seen the Gridiron Game Plans interstitial ad that I run in the middle of these videos every day, but I would highly encourage you, if you're learning stuff out of this video, to go and check out the vault on Gridiron. Ever since basically the end of December, we have been locking down with a heavy coverage focus to defend a lot of these wheel routes and a lot of the most meta checkdowns to running backs that people tend to spam and open up some of their deeper routes. I can confidently say that between the match game plan on Gridiron and the coverage that I've been breaking down in the vault since December, you guys can play your best coverage defense of the year while getting to the quarterback without blitzing. So definitely go check it out if you like this video. Now let's talk about the tight slots real quick. This formation is a lot tougher to defend. I'll be 100% transparent with you. These wheel routes are probably the best in the game. And if you haven't run into these, you're very, very lucky. But these ones get wide open on the sidelines. So let's go back into that cover 2 that we were just calling and take a look once again on this play. We're going to run a nickel corner right here in this spot. We're going to shade our coverage down. And if I were to run double flats and double wheels here, a lot of players will actually run a streak out of the backfield to the running back. You'll notice that the vertical hooks get out wide and then they end up giving the sideline throw behind them. So it takes away that low ball element to the tight ends on both sides. However, you end up with, unfortunately, the tight end being wide open behind that on both sides. So let's take a look at the replay top down. You can see that the linebacker on the left does a good job of getting into that low ball window inside of that tight end. And then the nickel corner in the vert hook does the same on his side. However, the running back can actually pull him up the field if he's on a streak. So that presents a little bit of trouble for the defense when you're trying to defend this. So we're going to actually build on the shading of this particular call, and that's going to go into a little bit more advanced. This is kind of the stuff that I teach on Gridiron. So let's say that we are shading our coverage down. That takes our cloud flats into hard flats. It's the deep sideline that is actually open. It's not the seam with the inside lead. It's the sideline outside lead that's open. So go ahead and take those hard flats and put them back into cloud flats when you're doing this. So when we go against that same route combination, that outside lead up the sideline is not nearly the throw that you think it is. Now, you might be able to rip that throw inside pass lead over the top of that shaded down vert hook, but that's going to be something that, obviously most players that spam wheels, they're looking for that inside low ball. It's kind of a muscle memory, and once it's not there, they glance off of it, right? So this induces a lot of panic, at least in my experience. A very, very good player, like say a Goes Madden or somebody that specializes out of this offense, is going to still be able to throw this ball with the correct lead because they've thrown these wheels hundreds, if not thousands of times. But for the vast, vast majority of players you run into online, this should not be an issue. So again, you shade your coverage down, and then you go ahead and recloud those corners. And then when your opponent goes to the double flats, double wheels with the running back streak, they basically can't throw that ball outside pass lead. They have to throw it inside pass lead into the safety help, which is ideally what you're looking for. You also kind of factor in that I had to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. That's key as well. That's going to give you time for your guys to shed. So if you kind of take a look here, you can't really lowball into this number 18 in the slot. You can't really lowball into Gronkowski in the slot. You have to really wait for him to clear. And at this point, you're throwing an inside pass lead. If you want to, you could actually combine another tip. So let's go even deeper with this one. I'm kind of feeling it in today's video. Let's add in the old tip that I started the year off in to this particular concept. Let's go into 4 verticals. And what we're going to do is we're going to set Tampa 2 as an audible. And I'm going to come out in double safety blitz. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a man zero blitz look. Kind of looks like the safeties are walking down, but we're going to audible into the Tampa 2, which is going to end up putting us in a cover 2 defense. I'm then going to shade down, and I'm going to recloud those corners. Now, when your opponent wants to go to double wheels and double flats, kind of take a look at how this looks. You can't inside pass, and you got to throw this inside lead. Now, if you had like a good zone safety, obviously that's going to be something where they're going to break on that throw. In regs, your results are going to be a little bit less. But that inside pass lead down the seam is a lot scarier with those safeties being low in the box and dropping out. At this point in time, you're not just thinking to yourself, okay, I've got to throw, you know, the wheel route inside. I mean, you're not throwing this wheel route inside on this player right here. You're just not. There's a vert hook there. There's a cloud flat there. You got to check it down. Over here on this side, you know, I think that the safety could have done a better job. Definitely could have done a better job. This guy kind of got fooled by the route combo. But again, working him down in the box can also deter some of those inside pass leads. Kind of turns them into looking for lobs more so than inside pass leads down the seam. So that little walk down tip, you know, you could use it, take it or leave it. It's just something that I wanted to share with you guys as well. So I hope that today's video helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, make sure you guys drop them below. Wheel routes are tough. I'm not out here pretending to say that you're going to never give up a wheel route again, but I can tell you that this is a far more consistent approach to defense against that meta than most players tend to try. Obviously, manning up the running back wheels and the tight end wheels, you just lowball those anyways, right? So you have to have the right zones. And for a lot of players, setting zone drops is a pain. I'm kind of anti-zone drops. I use them in 4th down and long, but it's really not my thing. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. We'll see you guys tomorrow with the next one. Until then, this is Ann. Get in the lab and good luck.